Have you wondered what you can put in a continent box for Africa? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what's in our continent box for Africa and how you can put it together yourself at home. So stay tuned. But hey, if we're only meeting for the first time, my name is Rebecca Raitt from Empowered Avenue, empowering eclectic education one avenue at a time. I'm an educator with a passion for alternative learning styles and inspiring people to be just a little bit eclectic with their learning. On this channel, I do weekly videos all about Montessori-inspired activities and language learning tips for non-native speakers. So if this sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you get all the alerts for future videos. This video is part of a series all about continent boxes. So if you're interested in seeing more about continent boxes and what goes in the other ones, then please check out the playlist below. Continent boxes are a Montessori concept introducing the continents of our world to children in a hands-on and fun way. Each box can be made up of literally anything: photos, ornaments, souvenirs, stuffed toys, animals, books, anything. Literally, the sky is the limit of what you can put in it. And it really doesn't have to cost much. I've tried to do it on a strict budget using what I already had and only purchasing a few things. So, onto the continent box. The first thing I put in my continent boxes are stuffed animals. We already have quite a collection of stuffed animals, and I think I've purchased a few from the second-hand store, but other than that, we just used what we had. So in my Africa continent box, I have a camel. This one is actually from Dubai, but camels are also found in Africa, so I've popped it in our Africa box. I found this little guy at a second-hand store and thought it would made a perfect addition for the Africa box. And I also have an African elephant, which is actually from Africa, and this one was generously given to my daughter from my aunt. The next thing I put in our continent boxes are the Montessori print shop pack for geography. So this is our Africa continent pack. It includes large photos like these and little 3-part cards on different topics like culture, food, instruments, landmarks, and the flags of the continent. I chose to invest in these because I just don't have the time to format and find photos myself while I'm putting together a full course, so this was a very worthwhile investment to me. And then there's the 3-part cards, and I popped them in little packs like this using the cover page as an envelope. The only other thing I invested in were some good quality African elephant figurines. I didn't really have many nice ones, and because this was for a class, I decided to put some money down to get a good set of African animals, and they were a big hit. I bought these just from our local Target store, which are a good in-between price point in comparison to shellac and your general cheapy animals. So these made a good midway point, and they're absolutely gorgeous. They're very similar to shellac, very lifelike, realistic, and quite large. I like that they came in sets. So we get a baby one and a parent one, or a family with 3 like this. And the kids really liked matching up the babies to the adults, and they all just went in a basket like this. The next thing I found at a local second-hand store was this statue, and the first thing I thought was Africa, but I'm not actually 100% sure if this is from Africa or it could be from South America. If you know, please let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to put it in the correct continent box. The next thing I found at a local op shop was a bundle of material, and the first thing I thought again was Africa. I thought this would make great fabric to use to dress up and wrap just like people in Africa do, and it also made a good backdrop for displaying all the materials. One of our parents also brought in some beautiful African items because their family is from there, and she brought in some beautiful cloth that is traditionally used to wrap either babies or as clothing. She also brought in some little figurines and a beaded elephant, and she also brought in some money from Africa, which I didn't have much of because my brother only had 1 coin from South Africa, so it made a great addition. And she also brought in a couple of books in the local language of Kenya, which is Swahili. This leads perfectly into the next thing I pop in our continent boxes, which are books. So these are the books that she brought in, and these are an alphabet and accounting book in Swahili and English, and the photos are just beautiful. She lent them to us for the week so we can look through them in a bit more detail. I also included some books from our local library. This is our Africa continent book. It includes lots of photos from Africa and lots of information, probably a little bit too much information for the children as young as I had. And this was another awesome book that I found at our local library. The First Peoples series is a gorgeous series showing the first peoples of different continents in the world. I put the Oceania one in our Australia box, and this is the First Peoples of Africa, and the photos and information is just fantastic. I also included some language books. So I have Arabic at home, so we have Arabic dictionaries like this, a little Arabic alphabet book like this, storybooks like this, which are completely in Arabic to show the children that there are other ways of writing. And this one is another example. First phrases in Arabic. I also included a first phrases in Somali because I found that at our local library. I also included a book on deserts, and this includes deserts in Africa because we are also introducing habitats this term. So if you haven't already guessed, I am a little bit obsessed with languages, and I like to pop something of a different language in each continent box because I think it's important that children can hear that there are different languages in the world, and I'm trying to inspire just a little bit of a love of languages. For Africa, I chose to just include Arabic, but you could also include French because that's spoken in a lot of African countries, and any of the local country languages if you can find them at your local library. And I chose to save French for when we actually got to the Europe continent box. My library didn't actually have many books on Africa or the African countries, or they're just really hard to find because our non-fiction children's section is quite difficult to navigate. But I included a few countries like Nigeria and South Africa, but that's pretty much all I could find. And it's also hard to find books for the younger age group. Now onto the activities that we did along with this continent box. We started learning about habitats and what is a habitat, and we learnt about the grassland or savanna habitat in Africa. So we used photos to match up some of the animals that are found in the grasslands, what they need to survive, and what are the common characteristics of grassland habitats, such as very little trees, lots of grass, and it's quite hot most of the year. Then we got into the art activities where we made an African drum. Like this one is my daughter's. We just used a tin and took the lid off and popped a balloon over the top, then covered it with paper. My daughter decided to do collage, but some of the other kids decided to draw on theirs, and she also put a face. Then we also got into some painting. The idea was to do an African savanna painting with like a sunset and some trees like we just learnt about in the grassland habitat. And this was what my daughter ended up doing. We discovered watercolors and how they mix and blend together and how you need to have the paper wet, and that's why they're watercolors. And they had great fun doing quite a large A3 size painting there. Another thing you can include in your continent box are ethnic specific dolls. Now this one is from the Miniland series, and it is an African baby doll, one of the small ones. They are anatomically correct, and I love them. They smell beautiful like a real baby, and these are a great hit with especially little children. I hope this video gives you a few ideas of what you can put in your own continent box. It's very easy and low cost to do. You can use what you have at home or just use your printer and print off a bunch of things. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and tag and share with someone you think might also like it. And if you want to see more, please check out the playlist below with all the other videos in this series on continent boxes. If you'd like to keep updated for future videos, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you know when I post a new video, and I'll be posting new videos weekly. Question of the day: what's your favorite item from this continent box, and what could you put in your own continent box? Let me know in the comments below. That's all from me today. My name is Rebecca Raitt from Empowered Avenue, empowering eclectic education one avenue at a time. Stay inspired, and I'll see you soon.